Hi, I'm Lance Lambert. Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Vehicle Show. We are in Lake Tapps, Washington at the Cars for a Cure car show. This is a great show put on by Vic and Mary Payment. They do this every year. It's a fundraiser for the cure of cancer, and just happen to have Vic right here. Vic, how you doing? Come on up here.
I'm doing good.
All right. Tell us about the show.
It's actually for a charity for my sister-in-law who has ovarian cancer, and it's a great fundraiser. And it is growing twice as big as last year. Hopefully we can do it again.
How many years you been doing this?
This is our second only, and now that we ruined the lawn twice, and
Just enough time to repair it.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many cars out here today?
100 and some.
Okay, and everybody, the money that's made here today goes to
Every
to pay the
penny.
bills, every
Yeah.
penny of it.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring Mary in here.
Mary?
Come on in.
It's
Step up here. So I hear a few yays out there. You have some fans?
Oh, I hope so.
I was told, I have to admit that I was all set up to interview just Vic on this, and somebody came up and said, you know, Mary does 80% of the work on this thing.
Oh, come on.
Apparently I didn't hear that from Vic. So what do you think about all this? How's it going?
Great, great. I mean, I love the turnout. I'm just overwhelmed for everybody that comes, and for my sister and the cause. And yes.
And your sister is the cause here? Let's
My
bring
sister
her
is
in.
the cause.
Carol?
Carol's cause.
We're getting quite a crowd here.
Yeah.
So you are the recipient of all this?
Yes, I'm Carol Zorich, and this is for our team for March of European Cancer.
And so the big turnout today, and you're happy with the way everything's
Oh,
going?
it's terrific. These
Okay.
people are amazing. You can't believe how wonderful this is, all these people turning out to help.
Well, we're thrilled to be out here today, and you mentioned amazing people. What we are going to do is meet some of these amazing people, see some amazing cars. So do what I have told you to do for 425 episodes. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. Mark Robinson, this is a beautiful 1971 Plymouth Cuda. Thank you very much for letting us take a look at it. Nice color, nice car, looks like absolute perfection. Tell us, how did this come into your ownership?
Well, I bought it from a guy who in Madison, Wisconsin, and had it shipped out here. and he basically started it and just ran out of money, I guess. So I brought it out here 4 years ago and finished putting it together. Mostly the interior.
And the finishing of it, you ended up, you came out here with a body and a frame and parts and pieces?
No, actually it was drivable at the time, but the interior wasn't complete. There was some details from the engine missing and a few other things, and changed the wheels and tried to put it back to as much original stock as possible. He had it kind of dressed up a little bit, which I didn't care for that.
Okay. And of course the infamous Hemi motor with the shaker hood.
Yeah.
What a combination.
Yeah.
A Mopar. I'm looking around at this show and there really aren't many of them
Well,
here.
and that's why I was a Chevy guy for 40 years. Had Camaros, Corvettes, all of that stuff. Decided I wanted something different, so I go to these shows, and what you see is lots of Fords and Chevrolets. One of these. That's the reason I have it.
Yeah, well, it looks great. And the horsepower, cubic inch, what you got going on there?
426 Hemi. It's rated at 425. It's actually more than that. They rated it at 425 in the 70s for insurance purposes, but it gets up and goes.
Yeah. And the Camaro guys, what's their reaction? A quiet respect, or are they pretty enthusiastic?
Yeah, they like their Camaros. Let's put it that way. So I don't care. I like this. So.
Okay. Well, I like your 1971 Hemi Cuda. Mark, thank you very much for taking the time to show it to us. All right.
Anytime. Thank you.
If you don't like Woodies, that means you don't like puppies and you don't like chocolate. I mean, you gotta like a Woody. Everybody likes a Woody. Don Comstock, what a beautiful 1951 Chevrolet Woody here. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, thank you. Well, I've had this car about 5 years. I started on 2 other ones that were total rust buckets. And when this one came along, the other 2 went down the road.
You had something really good to start with on this one?
This was a solid car, rust-free, Southern California. Bought it from one of those car dealers that advertised. It wasn't quite as nice as he said. When I got the car, it was all green. Inside was green, outside was all green.
Even the wood portions were green.
Actually, the wood portions, the door sills were the only thing that he left wood. And a friend of mine when I was in college had one. And I've always had one close to my heart ever since.
Okay. Well, I think everybody has had one close to their heart.
Yeah.
You had to undo the previous green painting, and your wood paint on here is pretty convincing. How did that, did you do that? Did you have that done?
There's a fella in down here in Auburn named Bob Bailey that does a nice job. I was going to do it, but I've done some wood graining when I was really, 20s. But I'm glad I had him do it. He did a nice job.
How about
looks like wood.
Yeah, that's great.
I did the paint. I do most of my own work.
Okay, so you painted it yourself?
Oh yeah.
That's great. And the wood rack on top, what's the story
That's
there?
an experiment.
Okay.
That's an experiment.
And how did it turn out? Are you happy with your experiment?
Kind of halfway. I had some scrap oak, and I just started cutting and pasting, and I think I may do another one, and it hopefully will turn out a little bit better.
Okay. And this is your old dependable stove bolt 6 in this.
Stock engine, actually the original engine to the car.
Well, Don, your Woody is like an adorable puppy. It's just cute and warm and fuzzy and really nice. So thank you very much for letting us feature it on the Vintage Vehicle Show.
Thank you for asking.
Okay. I've made it real clear to the viewers that I'm an orphan car guy. I love unusual orphan cars. I'm the proud owner of a 1950 Studebaker. So this 53 Studebaker, owned by Terp Christensen, jumped out at me. What a beautiful car. Tell us about it.
Well, thank you. I bought the car in 1997 and slowly took it apart, and it took years to find all the emblems and everything that were in good shape, the new old stock ones, so forth and so on. We pulled the car completely all the way down to the frame. It's got a 55 frame underneath it. When we took it off the frame rack, the car tilted in the middle, so the frame wasn't strong enough, so consequently it had to come completely apart again. Then we went ahead and stiffened the frame with tubing, so forth and so on, and it's got an LT1 Z28 motor in it that's built a little bit. It's got a 9-inch Ford rear end with 388s and gears in it. It's got a 4L60 4-speed automatic in it. It's the airbag suspension all around, air ride suspension. It's just a dream to drive. It's handles like $1 million, it does.
Pretty much everybody I know in the hobby agrees with me that this car, it came out, almost 60 years ago, and it still looks stylish. It still looks sleek and modern and sporty, and they nailed it with this.
It was way ahead of its time. If you look at all of your 50 models cars back in those days, they're all square. The only thing that I've basically done to this, or had done to it, is we put the Mini Cooper headlights in it. It's got 86 Honda door handles in it because it basically matched the flow of the car. Other than that, the exterior of it is pretty much all original. It's got some custom interior in it. It's got English leather interior. It's just a dream car of mine. I've wanted one of these cars ever since I was in high school.
The choice of the headlights really flows with the car. It looks like it should have been done that way. What's the hardcore Studi community think of this?
Actually, the car was featured in Turning Wheels, which is a Studebaker magazine.
Excellent magazine.
It was in the modified section. That was done in 2000. It was either 2007 or 2008. Now, I had it in the Tacoma Dome at Mild and Wild just after the car was built in 2006, and consequently, I had one purist come up and just pick the car completely apart. And because it is a champion, the Commanders were V8s, It was a Champion. I've got the Champion script on the grill front, and consequently, he just went up one side of me and down the other. You've got the V8 emblem on it. It's a 6-cylinder car. He made the comment about the paint script on the side of the car. That's for the two-tone. Finally, I just got fed up and I said, you know, I really like this car. I built it the way I wanted it. I drive it. I'm really sorry that you're disappointed in it.
And then did he harumph and stomp off?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much,
Yeah,
pretty much.
well, he needs to
But
get
you, but you get a lot of Studebaker people that really like the car, and the car stands out. And what really surprises me is that everybody that I talk to, either their aunt, their dad,
Right.
their grandfather, whomever else, has all had a Studebaker or they've got one. And it just amazes me that they went out of business.
Uh-huh. Yeah, some bad management, and some of their cars were too advanced.
Yes,
The
definitely.
market just, they were too weird for the market, and then 3 years later, oh, this looks pretty good, but meanwhile, Studebaker
Yeah.
can't make money on
That's
a
right.
3-year-old car. Yeah, so. Well, Terp, thank you very much for taking the time to let us take a look at your car. It is one of the most stunning 53 Studebakers I have ever seen, so thanks
Oh, I
again.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love Metropolitans. I think they're like another car that's like puppies. They're really cute. And then I find out this is owned by 14-year-old Carly Payment. Carly, how is it that you're 14? How did this come about?
My grandpa found it at an auction. He took a picture of it. And he's like, I bought this car for you, jokingly. And then I saw it in person. I'm like, oh, it's so cute. And I'm like, okay, it's mine. And he's like, what? I was just joking. I'm like, no, you said it was mine. It's mine.
Well, your grandpa's big into cars.
Yes.
So does that mean it's in your DNA? You're big into cars too, or? And you're helping here at the show today. A lot of help, selling
Yeah.
tickets and all. Were you aware of Metropolitans when you started?
No.
No?
I was just like, what's that? And so I saw a picture and I'm like, oh, it's a little car.
It's just your size.
Yeah.
A 14-year-old girl, forgive me for saying this, but I would think that you would be more into, a newer, smaller, one of those little really fast foreign cars as opposed to a very old Nash Metropolitan.
Well, I do like my dad has a 2011 Camaro, and that's really cool, but I also like the older cars, so.
And what's the plans for this? It's obviously been painted, was that?
Yes.
Okay, that's since you've owned it?
Yes.
Okay, and what else are you going to do to it?
The inside, the interior, it's kind of messed up.
You're going to redo that. Is it going to be a stock style, or are you going to put rolls and pleats or do something?
I don't know.
What do your friends think of this?
My guy friends think it's, wow, that's a little car. And my girls' friends, they're just like, oh, it's so cute.
Well, the guys say it's a little car, but do they like it or do they think it's goofy?
They think it's goofy. There's like, it's a little clown car.
Well, let me give you a hint here. The guy that likes it, that's the guy you need to spend some time with. You can start hanging out with those guys. All right. Well, Carly, you obviously have the good DNA from the Payment family. Thank you very much for being on the Vintage Vehicle Show. I love your Metropolitan.
Thanks.
Thank you. Skip Drillard, I had a 52 Chev. It was a really nice 52 Chev. Really nice. Wasn't this nice. This is a beautiful car. Tell us about it.
Well, I've had a little over 3 years. It looked just like this when I bought it.
The hardtop, even back when I was in high school, this was a very desirable car, and even back then, the hardtops were hard to find. I mean, they were only 10 years old back then, and they were hard to find.
Right.
So they're even rarer now.
Yep, these, there's not as many around. I like the fat fender.
Right, yeah. The color, what color is it?
They
Salmon?
come with a salmon.
Salmon, okay.
And I heard an interesting story, just heard it from a guy that come by.
Okay.
His dad had a Chevy dealership in the Midwest in '52. Every new Chevy dealer got one of these, and they took it all to the convention. So all the dealers that drove all had this car.
That was just a marketing thing to have all that?
Yeah, this is the one car for each dealer of this color.
When I had my 52 Chev, I'm not going to name the club because I don't want to embarrass anybody,
Yeah.
but there is a club out there that I belong to that likes you to keep these really stock. And mine had rally wheels and drop nose and bull nose and split manifold, dual carbs and
Right.
that whole thing. And they weren't happy about that. What kind of response do you get on this?
I get nothing but positive. They love the stock look. You know, the car's not French lights, you know, the emblems are all there. The hood's still there. It's still got a two-piece windshield. With a lot of guys with this model, they put an Oldsmobile
yeah.
windshield in it.
But your interior's been dulled up quite a bit there.
Yeah, but it's the basic
Style,
You know, it's
same
not
style.
a tuck, real tuck and roll or foo-foo interior. It's just ABC interior.
Well, Skip, thank you very much for letting us take a look at it. This is
Okay.
It's an exceptional car. Thanks a lot.
You bet.
Okay. What a great time we've had here at Lake Tapps at the Cars for a Cure car show. There are over 100 cars here today. Some great people. The weather held out. Everything was really nice. Big thank you to the Payment family, Vic and Mary, and boy, there's Payment people running all over the place here. Cousins and uncles and grandkids and everything. It's been really fun. So again, thank you to them, and thank you for watching the show, and we'll see you again next time. Until then, bye-bye.